Serious, what's a dark secret you want to get off of your chest? Please do like, comment and subscribe for more juicy content. I was molested by my brother when I was very young. I've forgiven him because as it turns out, he was being molested by a family member. But I'm still triggered by it, and it affects our relationship because I maintain distance from him. I enjoy spending time with him, but when he wanted to move in with me I said no because the thought of it triggered me since we have never addressed it. Everyone in my family minimizes and invalidates things to avoid confronting the pain it's caused them, and I refuse to live that way, so naturally I'm the black sheep. Regardless, I plan to address this in the near future, even knowing it will ruin what remnants of our relationship remain. Which is a shame because he's the only family member I have a relationship with, and the only level-headed one other than myself. After I confront this I'll be without family indefinitely, and I know it. But I can't let it eat away at me, and if he chooses to avoid these demons that's ultimately his choice to make for himself. My family members are just walking trauma responses, and it makes me very sad for them sometimes because they are always seemingly in severe hardship, whether it be addiction, stuck due to trauma, refusing to work, housing, etc. I had hoped to inspire them by showing them what quality of life exists when you confront your trauma and heal, but their trauma has consumed them so deeply that they just hate me for how far I've come instead. They resent me for not just taking care of them even though I'm in no position to do so. As a result, I went NC with the rest of my family, and I have zero regrets. I miss them sometimes, but then I remember that they manipulate, gaslight, and never call me to see how I'm doing, ever. So I move on, and continue creating my own memories. I wanted to eat my GF lil sister's pussy and ass. My sexual attraction to her is too intense. I dated a cousin once, and would fuck her just about every day, and would get hotels, and literally slut my cousin out. Fun fact, her ass was the first ass I ever ate. My mom dated my football coach when I was a kid. I was around the 6th grade, and he had kids, 2 daughters. One was gay, and older, and knew I thought she was cute. When she would come over she would let me play with her butt, and pussy. I was in like 6th grade at the time. One time me, and the other sister were playing PS2 in my room, and she fell asleep. Started playing with her pussy in her sleep. She woke up, and asked what I was doing. I just froze. When she went back to sleep I did it again, but she didn't wake up this time. About a week goes by, and my mom and the coach aren't talking. I think the girl told the dad. I fucked my old boss with her kid in the room. I knew her kid crawled back in the room, but I was close to coming so I said nothing to the mother. I ejaculated in her pussy. She gets up to get a towel, I start dripping on the floor, and she come back in the room, sees her kid, and picks up a shirt I was just dripping on, and puts it on the kid. Somehow I never said anything. I used to beat my meat in Walmart parking lots in Texas watching women with fat asses walk in. I recorded my old female best friend having sex without her knowing for about a whole summer. And I would beat my meat to it when I knew she was home. And I nutted in some coffee I made for her once. She said it was pretty good, and that line lives in my head rent-free every day. Back to her office to work. I heard 3 footsteps on carpet, then it felt like I was being watched. I tried to peek my eyes open, and I see she is holding her boob, and taking a video of me sleeping with my dick out. I just lay there. She puts her hands in her pants then walks away. I hear a door close. She thinks I'm still asleep, and the walls in the house are thin so I can very clearly hear her moaning. She was rubbing one out to a video of me sleeping with my dick out. Don't think my friend knows about it. But she often brings up how great of a house guest I am, and I can stay over whenever I want. I've got off to an old pic of my stepmom from the 90s that my drug dealer had in his broke down car once. I told her son about it. He hates me now. I put my dick between 2 couch cushions like a pair of butt cheeks. I peed literally in the couch, and left. I was at a friend's house, and he was rubbing in my face that he had sex my crush. So I peed in his couch when he left the room. I never talked to either of them again. My ex went to Miami without telling me. So I fucked her best friend in our bed, and ate her pussy and ass, and didn't clean the sheets when she came home. I fucked my ex, and flew out the state, and never went back. I don't regret it. Okay, these are a few things. Hope everyone enjoys your day. I need to have sex for 3 or 4 consecutive hours to feel me better, then after that time I need more. If I do that in the morning and evening I need to repeat. Problem, I cannot talk about this issue with friends because nobody believes. At the end I just accept that my situation it is what it is. When I was still living in an apartment building with my cousins, there's this one time where we all decided to drink for one of the first times. One of my cousins was really drunk to the point where she couldn't get off my bed, and since I didn't know what to do because I was drunk too, I just decided to lay next to her. She has slept on my bed before sober, but this time was different. I turned towards her face not intentionally, I just wasn't comfortable on the other side I was facing. Then she started getting closer, and closer to my lips, so I leaned in and kissed her back. Then that led to us having. You know. The next morning she was gone to her room. I was so ashamed, and suicidal because of what I did to her, and what she said to me what a cousin should never say to one another. I went up to her room, and asked how was she, and if she's okay. She's fine she said. She also said that it's okay for what we did. A couple weeks go by, and guess what? We did it all over again. The even weirder part to all this is that we're now dating secretly. I have two. 23 male by the way. When I was maybe 8. I don't know but I was younger, me, and my cousins went for a walk in the woods, and when we came back my mom gave me a hug, and found a tick on my neck. Me, being the hypochondriac I am freaked out about it all day. Once we got it out with an ice cube, I have this memory, and I'm not sure if it's real, or if I imagined it, or it's a repressed memory, but my dad said he needed me in the bathroom for a bit. I went in, and he said he needed to check my private parts for ticks, just in case. I don't know why he did that, and to this day, I have never brought it up because I don't know for sure if it happened, and if I said something it could ruin his life. I don't like my dad that much, he's an asshole, but I don't want to ruin his life. When I was a kid, like very young, I did something very future serial killer-like, and I remember it, and hate myself for it every day because I love animals, and would never harm them. But I had a couple fish, and I wanted a new one. So I took one out of my fish tank with a net, and killed it pretty violently by hitting it with the net. I feel horrible, and although I'm 23 now I think about it every once in a while, and shudder to think about the poor animal's life I took because I wanted a new one. Started hooking up with my boss at work. We had an 8-year age gap, I'm female 21, and he was male 29, so he asked if we could keep it low-key which I was fine with. He was also up for promotion to a different location so we knew it would be a short-lived thing. Found out just before he left that the reason he wanted to keep it a secret was because he had a long-term girlfriend that he lived with, who was recovering from cancer. I was absolutely shocked, and went totally cold with him. He blocked me on all social media so I couldn't find any of her information or that she existed in the first place. The day after he left he went on holiday, and proposed to his girlfriend, now fiancée, and someone in the work group chat posted a screenshot of their Facebook announcement showing her name and face. Part of me wants to reach out and tell her that her new fiancé is a cheating scumbag, but I haven't. They've been together for years, and based on the post she's been wanting him to propose for ages. After battling cancer, I can't help but feel that I should let her settle down, and have her happily ever after, and just pray that he doesn't pull the same antics as he did with me. I was groomed from age 12 to 18 by a 36-year-old man who worked in what was essentially Australia's GameStop. I had many SA-related traumas from when I was a child but now I sit and think about it, even though he never touched me, the things he made me do were horrific, involving blood, and art all in one. I remember at 13 he asked me to read him smut while I was talking to him on the phone, and I still sit here and wonder how I never saw the red flags. I hate that I was so naive and stupid. I can't wait for my mom to die. She's a narcissistic bitch that always plays the victim, and I can't handle any more of her bullshit attempts at gaslighting or manipulation. I've dealt with it for 20+ years, and I'm just over it. The only reason I stay in contact with her is because of my younger sibling. Going no contact would be a dream come true, but it's unrealistic for my situation. I'm just so tired of trying to come up with excuses of why I want to see my sibling, but not her. Or why just my sibling should be invited to parties. She's unbearable, and makes everything about her. I am planning to propose to my partner so I can unalive myself without regrets. The way many girls want to get married, and start planning their wedding in elementary, the same way I've always planned out my proposal. I have also been struggling with mental illness for over 10 years at this point, and had 2 attempts as a teenager. I started therapy 2 years ago, and have been on antidepressants for about a year, which replaced my passive ideation that I used as a coping mechanism. At first they made me feel better, but for the past 6 months or so my old thinking and behavior patterns started coming back again. That was also around the time I have decided to propose to my partner. We've been together for over a year now, and I love him more than I ever loved anyone. We are very happy in our relationship, and he knows I'm planning to propose. What he doesn't know is that the regret of never having that engagement moment with him is the only thing that kept me back the last 3 times I've had a strong urge to jump off the balcony. I know it's selfish, and you can say that if I really loved him I would just disappear from his life before ending things, so he doesn't have to go through the experience of losing a partner. I am planning to do that after the proposal if I can hold out long enough, tell him I cheated on him or something else terrible, so he doesn't miss me as much, but I just don't know how much longer I will be able to postpone this. The only thing I know that in less than a week I will no longer have that regret, and I can't say which I am looking forward to more, putting a ring on his finger, or not having anything stop me. Thank you for reading. I met this girl on Tinder who had matched with me. I thought she was way out of my league, and must have been a bot or something. We started chatting, and realized she was a real person. We got really close, and even went out a few times. One night she hit me up saying she was horny. I asked if she wanted to meet up or something, and she said she couldn't but would be down to send pics. For the record, I never do this, but I liked this girl so we sent pics back and forth. 20 minutes go by and after asking her for a video she sent me a screenshot of my pics/vids, and all of my Instagram followers. She told me that her and her boyfriend would send the pics to everyone if I didn't pay her $100. I was poor, and gave her all I had. It was only like $45. 15 minutes later 3 people hit me up saying they had gotten photos of me. I had to explain it to these distant friends. Luckily none of my closest friends had gotten them. They don't know, and I don't want to tell them. Now I don't want a relationship. I'm happy my mom's ex died. Dude was a fucking menace. Frequently had outbursts where he would destroy our apartment or threaten my siblings or my mom. His family and friends all thought he was harmless, but didn't want to deal with him. One day he was having another meltdown. My mom and siblings were hiding in my room and I was holding the door shut while he was trying to get in, so I called the police. Dude blamed me for years after that, and targeted me a lot. One day some neighbor boys tried to assault me, and when I mentioned it he convinced himself that I must have led those boys on, and kept inviting them over. He was convinced that I did porn, and would obsessively search for it. I was 15. Limau also sus as hell that he would try so hard to try to find videos of me that didn't exist. I also had to take care of him when he shattered the bones in his arm and hand, and traveling nurses refused to come to our house to flush his floor. I imagine he was terrible to them too. I have so many stories about this guy. I was around 22 when he died, and I was genuinely happy that he died. I thought I was kinda over it, but once I had kids I've started to become angry with every adult involved. I couldn't imagine putting my own kids in those situations. That I didn't spend near enough time with my nan in the months before her death. For context, she was 101 hilarious, kind, and had all her faculties. She was the best support, and everything you would want in a nan. With her age, I knew time was short but didn't prioritize her as much as I should have. I saw her the night before she died, and I said I'm sorry and she accepted it and forgave me, but you could tell she was sad. Next time I saw her she was gone. I regret it every day of my life. Added, I'm sorry I haven't replied to everyone. Thanks a billion for the funny, caring lovely words. Thanks also for sharing your stories. I'm so sorry for all your loss. I've read them all and it looks like this is a pretty universal experience. I know the guilt and pain feeling, so I'm sorry you have to go through that too. There is some great advice in the comments and I hope you find one that makes you feel a bit better. For those who have grandparents that are alive, and you can't get to them or it's hard, don't beat yourself up. The comments I read that helped me might help you too. If you can physically or mentally see them, do it, otherwise look after yourself. Your grandparents and parents made good people. I suffered from horrific intrusive thoughts due to OCD, and for 28 years I thought something was wrong with me. That I may end up being a predator/murderer/psycho, even though all of the thoughts made me physically sick. I was genuinely scared to babysit my 2-year-old nephew alone because what if I accidentally threw him down the stairs? I finally opened up to my therapist, and she helped me work through it all, and I'm not triggered anymore, and I can finally live peacefully. Back in college my floor mates thought I needed to loosen up. They all knew I had a bad first sexual experience, and wanted to help. So they did nothing but hand me drink after drink. One night at a pregame, I was happy people were being cool to me. One drink was drugged. I don't remember leaving the dorm that night, even though I was told that we all went to a bar. And I don't remember the bar, or getting back. But I do remember waking up in the morning, naked, with a condom still on my dick, and a girl sitting in my desk chair. When I woke up I questioned, almost paralyzed, in shock. She said, I only stayed because I thought you might be dead. I can't believe they convinced me to do this. I had never seen her before, and didn't know her name. But saw her around campus from time to time, where I avoided her, and she avoided me. I confronted my floor mates who got incredibly defensive, and brushed it off. They saw it as me getting with a very attractive girl. No apologies from anyone. People question me as to why I'm still painfully single, 9 years later. You've got a big heart, you would make someone happy. I've told one person about this, who laughed, and said, well, at least it wasn't real rape. So I don't tell anyone now. I'm terrified because I feel I would not be taken seriously. I've never had a real relationship, nor a healthy sexual experience. I'm not sure if I'll ever be at a place where I can achieve that. And at this stage, what's the point? Even if I find someone tomorrow, I'd be in my 30s getting married, and who knows about kids. Fully expecting to be alone for the future, even if I don't really want it to be that way. I'm in a bad place right now. My partner is sick, brain damage after a sudden illness. Most days he is his old self, but some days he is a stranger to me. He's angry, and confused, he doesn't know me, gets into a rage, and I have to calm him. I have to remind him of the 13 years we've shared together. I've to break his heart, and remind him that his dad is dead. It's worse because to people on the outside, he seems totally fine, just a bit quieter than usual. They don't see him when he's confused or wondering who I am. It's hard, and I'm burning out, between work, study, caring for him, volunteer work, and now we have to fucking move house, and as he has mobility issues, most of it will be left to me. He'll be upset, and confused at the change. I will not leave him, I adore him. But it's made me realize that the life we had planned is not going to happen. We were planning a baby. And we still want one, but I've had to accept that it likely won't happen as he has mobility and memory issues. He cannot work, so how can I go to work and leave him with a baby, a toddler, when I come home, and the oven is smoking because he forgot he turned it on? He is so excited talking about this baby we are meant to have in a few years' time. We had names picked. And I cannot bring myself to tell him that I don't think it'll happen. I desperately want his baby. But I've had to cut myself off from excitement about it because how can I tell him that his illness is the reason why we shouldn't have one? It's so hard because we both talk about it, we get excited, he says beautiful things about us having a baby together, and then it hits me again that it'll probably never happen. I'm angry. I'm heartbroken. I'm sad. We're not bad people. We try, and help when we can. We keep to ourselves, we don't cause trouble, and we've had such a shitty run of luck lately. This is the nail in the coffin for me, and I cannot take much more of this shit. I've never felt such hatred for a god, deity, whatever cosmic force there may be, but I wake up from what little sleep I get, every day, begging whatever the fuck is out there, to leave us alone. I want my old life back. I want my old partner back. I want our future back. And I'm so fucking angry because people keep telling me to be grateful he isn't worse. And I am grateful, my god, I was told if he lived, he'd be in a wheelchair, and he defied the odds. But just because he's doing okay doesn't mean I'm not allowed to feel. I'm fucking angry. And I'm sick of people dismissing my feelings about what happened because they say it didn't happen to me. It happened to us. He doesn't remember a damn thing about that night. I remember everything. I remember him seizing in bed, I remember calling 112, I remember him seizing again, and again. I remember doing compressions on him, I remember him terrified, saying my name before he seized again, into unconsciousness for 26 hours. He doesn't have epilepsy. He's never had any health issues bar a broken foot. It was so random, and so out of the blue. I'm sick of whatever is throwing all of this at us, and I know how horrible I sound because there are people in worse situations, but I'm just fucking done. Whatever is out there, whatever I've done to have this fall back on us, just leave him alone. He's a good, kind, sweet man, he doesn't deserve any of this. Just please stop because I actually can't take any more. Edited to add I am so deeply touched, and overwhelmed at the kind, compassionate people who took their time to comment on an internet stranger's mad vent. You are all absolutely beautiful, fantastic human beings, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being so nice to a total stranger. Edit to oh my goodness, 4,000 votes, are you kidding me? I just thought I was commenting a little rant about how things are a bit overwhelming at the moment. I'm so deeply touched by everyone's kind words. You all have put a smile on my face, and I'm feeling so seen right now. I'm going to be a fat mess, and get myself my Friday treat, coffee, and a pastry, early this week. I'm feeling better than I have in a long time. Also to add, I've been asked by a few people if I can see a therapist. Unfortunately our financial situation is so tight right now due to my partner being unable to work. It also costs me over €100 a week to get to, and from work, so unfortunately, a counselor for me is not on my immediate priority list, when we're struggling to even have money to pay the bills, and get me to work. I have, however, Put my name down for a free therapist session, which I'm hoping will happen within a few months. I know it seems silly of me to get myself a treat every week when we're struggling, but honestly sometimes it's the €6 coffee pastry combo that helps me through the week. Above all else, please hug your loved ones. I'm going to go give my big old bear a snuggle. A few people are aware that someone I was very close to committed suicide in 2014. He was the kindest man, and always asked about me, and he'd travel 2 hours by train just to meet me for a cup of tea and a slice of cake. He was someone so consistently there for me. I never considered the possibility of him one day not being there, and he seemed really happy. Everything was the best, every joke was the funniest he'd ever heard, and every brownie was the gooeyest. What I don't tell anyone is that the few days leading up to his departure, I had several missed calls from him, watched one of the calls ring without answering, and received a message from him, pleading that I call him when I had the chance. I had many chances, but I didn't call him. I woke up later that week to a message that, once pasted onto a Word document, took me 2 days to read. He wrote to me about his life, how insignificant he felt, how wonderful I am, and then ended it with an apology. I then received an email from his mother, informing me he had jumped in front of a moving train. I've never been a very sociable person. I've always been caring, and I try to do the right thing, but for the last 8 years I've stopped keeping kind thoughts to myself. The reason I check in on everyone, bake cakes, and answer my phone is all my way of keeping a piece of him alive. Sometimes the absence of kindness can be as damaging as malice. I understand that now, and I'm so deeply sorry I didn't realize it sooner. If you meet people in life who are enthusiastic, and living every day like it's their last, it might be, so I promise to always pick up. I know it's too late now, and I will live with the guilt for the rest of my life, but I'm okay with that if it means he's not forgotten about. My dad told me that in the afterlife, everyone will be resurrected perfect. So, it's comforting to know I'll recognize him, because he was a great friend, and perfect in every way. I hope I get to ask him for forgiveness.